the lamb cousin of the lamb oyster blade.
It's one of my
Sorry? The best value for them. If they want to do a steak, carp we roast, if they want to do yakiniku, it just depends what they want to do with it. But getting the most out of it, a rump is pretty good. I'd probably go with the roast beef. I wouldn't go with the full rump. I'd go with the roast beef if they're available. If not, you can still probably take them on. Down and sell it to someone else. Because they are So this is the oyster blade. So anybody heard of flat iron steak? You heard of the flat iron? Yep. Oh, you had oyster blade before? Yeah. Oh, okay. So they cut it nice and thin, did they?
Yes.
Yeah. It's we don't use this a lot in Australia because they cut it differently. We cut it, we leave it on the bone, so we call it it's called a barbecue blade steak, and it's actually in, or a wide bone, it's actually in the bone, still with the bone on it. But in food service, it's becoming more and more popular because it is one of those trending cuts that I think eats fantastic. I love this piece of meat. My local supermarket actually sells these now, the flat iron, and it's generally, talking to the butcher there, it's one of the first cuts that disappears off the shelves every day. People have learned, they've been out somewhere, they've gone to a restaurant, they've had it, tried it, loved it, they've found it in the supermarket, and so they're buying it.
It's one of my best sellers.
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna divide it, right?
Yes, but
It's so tender. It's so flavorful.
Yeah.
It's an amazing cut.
Yeah, it is. It is really, it really is. These years ago, these were cheap, really, really cheap, and nobody was using them. And then, we had to try and market them differently. So this is a big thing for the oyster blade, which has increased the value and the popularity of it.
It costs you almost like a strip club. Yeah.
So as it sits like that, we've taken that bit of scapular cartilage off, and generally the butcher would slice it up into steaks like that. Really nice on the grill. You've got that little bit of sinew in the middle. It still stays a little bit chewy, but it's also very good as a braise in the piece. So a steak in braise sauce, brown onion sauce or something like that. As a roast, you can roast that up like that, and then you can just slice it up as a roast, but you've still got that bit of sinew in it, but it does go a little bit gelatinous if it's long enough. We can leave, one of the other things we've done, let's see if I can do this, is we make a seasoned roast with it. So we seam it out. So what I've got to do, you look for the fatter end of it, that's the tongue end, goes into the scapular bone. That comes off up the very front of the animal. So I'm just going to sort of open that up a little bit before I show you what I'm looking for. So we're exposing this sinew. So that's what I'm looking for. Oyster blade.
Oyster blade.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking for, is that bit of sinew there. So as we go through it, I'll show you. My knife's sort of just sliding across the top of that sinew. I don't want to go all the way through. These are actually easier to do if they're grass-fed than grain-fed, because grain-fed animal, that sinew goes up and down like that and it gets a little bit of fat there sometimes. So it can actually be a little bit of a mission to get that out. As you can see there, there's a little bit of that marbling fat through there, so sort of push off a little bit. But I can take that right down, pretty much down to there. I'm not going to cut it in half. Now I'm going to take that out, which is carefully remove as much as I can without taking too much meat. This again is about an MB2 Wagyu oyster blade. But pretty much get what I'm talking about there. So what I can do then, trim that, get rid of that. And then I can put a seasoning or something in there, I can roll that up. Alright? You could also roll that up like that. And you've got a nice little piece. You can probably do some thin slice with that as well. You really probably should remove that part there if you're going to be doing that, because that's going to be as chewy as. But if you roast it off, it's actually it'll eat okay. And you've got a lot of silver skin under there. Pretty much. Yeah. Got the other part. You end up with a couple of really nice pieces of meat, easy to portion out. You do have a bit of trim, but all this trim that we would use, that would go into our sausages and mince, burgers, meatballs. So there's your flat iron steaks. And I think, you're right, they are. The taste is
So tasty, so tender.
I
buy for home a lot.
Yeah. I prefer that over a tenderloin any day of the week.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. So we would then probably portion that into pieces like that. It does have a tendency to, when you cook it, has a tendency to puff up. So it actually expands when you puff it. I really struggle to overcook one because it puffs up so much. But it's one of those cuts, if you overcook it, it's still going to be tender, isn't it? But as a medium rare steak, absolutely delicious.
And in Europe, I never seen it they do as a steak. Because when I grow up, my mom, they always like slow cookie or roasted or something.
Yeah.
I discovered it in Cambodia, then
In
it can be
Cambodia?
a steak.
Really? Had to go all the way there to get one. It's crazy. So that's what